Hello everyone, welcome to Talk Time with Marlene. Today I'm here with Shesking.
Yeah.
How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I have so much to ask you, and I don't even know where to start from. So I'm going to start with you telling us a bit about yourself and just taking us from the beginning to perhaps how the name Shesking was born.
Okay. Oh God, that's a big question. All right, so my name is Maya, for those that know me. Shesking is my stage name. And I think Shesking came about many years ago, probably around like 5 years ago, when I was like really into like stage work. So that was acting, drama, dance. I was really developing myself as like as a personality on stage. Yeah. So the word chic is very, like sassy, and the lab, it was meant to be some sort of connection to the French community that I have no connection with whatsoever. But it's just a word that kind of represented who I was. So that's it, the chic.
Okay. So when you say a bit French and French community, you have no connection. What do you mean by that?
I don't parle the français.
I don't.
I really don't parle the français. I try to, but
So you don't speak French?
No, I don't. Funny thing is, coming from Congo, my dad always tried to make sure that French was a language that we constantly practiced at home. We went to Germany first, and I learned German, and I knew French. But when you come to the UK, your first instinct is to learn English, and so English became the first thing that we had to really, develop in. But being at home in a Congolese household, my dad wouldn't speak to us in Lingala either, so it was French, French, French. But due to separation with the family, I then lived with my mum, and so she was trying to pick up more of English, and so we spoke English more to her. Hardly saw dad as much as we needed to, so French started breaking away more and more and more. And that was it. I think that was how French started kind of like being diluted. I understand it perfectly well, but speaking it right in the right tenses, bon, je comprends pas.
Oh, you just said something there.
So. I was in there every now and then,
Okay. So I've actually spent some time watching you.
Okay.
Like I admire it. I'm joking.
Oh,
I've actually spent some time watching your videos online, and I just want to know, like, what you do is already in existence, but everybody does something different. There's something that you probably have to offer that's different than others. So in terms of what you're doing, like as a blogger and all your videos, how is that different from any other bloggers out there?
This is the first time I've actually been called a blogger, because again, I've just started blogging not too long ago, like 2 months ago. And this blogging experience for me, it's not that I really want to establish myself as a blogger. Again, I'm already working towards becoming a public figure. So if sitting in front of a camera is the most convenient and easy way to communicate with my audience, then that's kind of the route I've taken at the moment. So that's really it. It's not that I actually want to be a blogger, but the good thing is that this allows me to build an audience, which I've managed to do really quickly in the past 2 months. So it's just a platform for me to be able to give the messages that I'm really trying to give. So that's kind of how it all happened. It's not that I'm actually a blogger, but it's a platform for me to sit down and just speak and connect to my audience. People get to know me better, because I think one thing I've realized is that people really misunderstand me, which is good because it just means you're curious, and then I can have a moment or a reason to connect to you. But I think it was just a way to introduce myself to people on a more personal level before kind of throwing out my ideologies and my thoughts and the revolution that I want to have. So I thought, let me just connect with the audience first, and then hopefully that should open up more doors.
And when you say personal, I feel like you're way too personal.
Very personal, honey.
You're really raw. Like, you open doors and you speak about things that some girls would think like, business. Like, I don't want people to start questioning, like, how many people have you dated? What have you done? Like, so are you okay with, like, really delivering it out there? Because you have a video that is, you called it My Heart Breakthrough Story. I didn't quite get the concept of the title, but I got what you were saying in the video. And you're okay with, your ex is okay with you saying ex?
Well, who cares? Who cares? For people that know me, I'm a very open person. And the reason being is because I've gone through a process whereby I've understood that the only things that people learn to attack are the things that you hide. And so when you put yourself in a place where, and it's hard, it's not easy, when you put yourself in a place where you're open to speaking about things that are painful, you reach out to so many people that are feeling the same way, that are more shy about doing it. And I think that's what's my shield, that I feel like people can connect to me and I'm not the only one here. Like, I find it very powerful to speak out about things that people are shy about. It's just the same way it reflects how I've overcome my insecurities, because we're all people, we're all human beings, we all have insecurities. But when you've accepted them and then you're willing to change them, it's harder for people to knock you down with it.
Agreed.
So I don't find that I have a problem with how open I am to it. I'm learning how to have boundaries though, because it's not just me that I affect. You know, I have siblings, I have family, I have friends that may not be as open as I am, so I have to make sure and be careful not to affect them in a way that I am okay with.
Coming from a Congolese community, they could be like, hey, tell her Manu, like go in there telling her business.
I love it because anyone that knows my mum, she's on the platform and she's constantly speaking, and the only reason why she's able to sit there is because she's been through a lot that people may not know of, some people may do, but people respect her for it. So, and my dad's always told me, be an honest person, be honest, and so that's kind of what gives me the strength to be here. I'm okay for judgment because the people that judge you are people that are either broken, don't know themselves, they're insecure. Like there's so many reasons why people want to judge you, that it doesn't make them a stronger person to you. So I'm okay to kind of handle it, if that makes sense.
And if no one's judging you and no one's saying anything about you, then that means you're not doing anything right.
Exactly.
They need to say something.
I don't mind, like, I get it.
You kind of need it.
I feel like sometimes the conversation needs to be had, you know? So, I mean, even the name, My Heart Breakthrough, the reason why I call it My Heart Breakthrough is because it was a heartbreak, but the point was I broke through it. And so it's not just one story, it's about
how you overcame the whole situation.
So I don't really mind how my ex would have felt about it or how the girl would have felt about it, because this was my story as much as it was for them. And he is or was a musician, who knows what's going on. But he could have used this and developed in his music and got something out of it, but I've decided to do it this way. I'm writing a play and this is a big chunk of it. Getting to the play part will be very hard without me being open about it, if that makes sense. So it's a little stepping stone that I'm taking. I wouldn't say I knew exactly what I was doing. It was a bit more like, let me just do it, why not?
Just do it and see what comes out of it, see the results, see what response I get. So what are the responses that you got from your viewers like?
Madly enough, so many people were like, wow, oh my God, I really connect to this. You know, you're really strong. The strong bit almost bothered me a bit because at this point, I don't see it as me being strong. I just see it as me being accepting of what happened. Whereas the dark bits and overcoming that part, the bit just before being open about it, that was where I was more strong because it took a lot for me to get over it. So it feels a bit weird to hear people say, "Oh my God, you're so strong." I'm just like, no, it's easy. But I think just because of the process it took for me to get here, I'm able to kind of accept where I am a bit more.
And you will definitely have the strength, because strength comes in due time. So you've spoken about it, you've opened. It's almost like you've cried, not cried, but you've cried out loud, you've put it out there. So anyone can think what they need to think, but you're now in that comfort zone where I can talk about it because it's happened and I've overcome the situation.
Most of the have always been about, oh my God, like I relate to it. So it's good to hear that. Well, I knew this already. I cannot be the only person that's gone through stuff like this. You know? And as shocking as it could be for some people are just like, oh my God, how did you go through that? Some people are like, yep, I hear you've been there, done that. You know, so I had that kind of like response from the video, which is lovely. And then anyone that went through it with me, because this was something I went through and a lot of people knew about it.
That was supporting you and helping you in the process.
Really was like, oh my God, wow, well done for talking about it. Like I didn't think you would ever be able to speak about it, and so that's been really encouraging, to be honest.
Well, good on you, girl, because not every girl is brave enough to go out there and talk about what they're doing. So you are the daughter of Charlie, The Charlie Show. Would you say that because you are her daughter, that this led you to wanting to take a media kind of public platform?
She stole my dream, child. I wanted to do this before.
How can she steal your dream when you're the child?
Honey, okay. Me and Mum have a very close relationship. Again, she went from being very quiet, submissive, almost invisible woman to now being a very big public figure within our community, which I really love and respect. Again, I'm her child, so although I dreamt these things, she was in a position where she can go out and do it. And so it was good for me to support her and watch her do what she was doing. And it kind of opened doors to accepting that my family's different and that I'm different. I don't have to kind of want to be in the typical kind of Congolese way where it's like nuclear family, you go to the same church, everyone's quiet. My family's quite broken and open, so it's not normal. The family's not a normal family, but then we find our own ways to bring it in and make it work. So she's opened the door of me allowing myself to accept my dreams, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's kind of how she's affected me with that.
So having a mother who's already in the path that you want to go into it's been quite helpful for you, because you're sitting back watching her, helping her, and now that you've taken things into action, it's quite easier for you as well. Is she helpful as well in what you do?
We're like two lions in a den sometimes, because like she wants things done her way, I want things done my way. And anyone that's got a family or a parent that they work together with, it's really difficult, because I may have a vision for her, she has a vision herself, and she knows the Congolese community like this. Whereas for me, I'm still trying to figure it out. I may know the media side of things, but she knows more about how to connect with her audience. And I may not agree to it, because I'm thinking, no, Mom, you're supposed to do it like this. And she's like, no, they don't understand that.
They don't understand the concept.
It's been hard to kind of work together in that way. But what we've done is that I've allowed her to do what she needed to do. And I've gone off and done what I needed to do, because we both need to build a platform. And then somewhere in the middle, which I think is the sickle cell kind of charity that we're doing, because my family's affected by sickle cell quite heavily. That's where we meet in the middle. So she's got her foundation of people, I've got my media or production or whatever that we're now bringing together.
When you say your family's affected by sickle cell, you have siblings, family members?
I've got my there's 4 of us, well there's like 10 of us. So my mum's children, I'm the oldest, I've got the trait, and then I've got 3 siblings after me who have the full-blown sickle cell disease. For anyone that doesn't know what sickle cell is a blood disorder. So if it's basically your blood type, SS or AS and whatnot. So then the 2 cells combine and they make deformed cells. And it's very, very painful, and you go through these crises. So many black people are affected by it, but
it's mainly the African and Caribbean community. And sometimes our African community, or Congolese community, should I say, tend not to quite understand it. They just see it as a bit like but they don't know which type of illness affects it. Okay, I really want to talk about Shesking, because not only do you call yourself Lashik, you also say pretty king or king, and that's totally opposite, because it should be queen, right? There's something that I need to know.
Yes, child, there is. I think the reason why I admire the word king is because I really look up to my dad. And I feel like I'm a very big reflection of him, as much as my mum. People look at me and say I look more like my mum, and I really do, but my dad's character is more dominant in me, and it's really helped me break through certain things in life. And so that is almost like an alter ego for me. People think it's a man bashing thing, which is so funny, because it's not. I didn't say he's king, I didn't say I'm king, I said she's king. And the word she is very as powerful as king. And so they carry each other in that way. The reason why I refer to myself as king, apart from how I see my dad, it's also because of what I think the word king represents. And I'm ignoring queen for a reason. The word king has so much respect in terms of how people see it, in terms of the power it holds, and that's how I see myself. Queens are meant to be beautiful and quiet and submissive and graceful, and those are part of who I am as well as a woman. But I also possess the characteristics of a king, of a leader, someone that is wise, someone that is leading the way, someone that
in the country, in the city that we live in, we don't need a king.
Well, apparently so. Funny enough,
he just sits in the back and just chills.
But then we have a queen who is still governed by a whole bunch of men who are in the parliament. So there's always these twists and turns in how society sees what the word king is. And it's just really a reason for you to sit and reevaluate the meaning of king. And because I've used that word, it always allows me to have that conversation with people, and that's exactly what I want. I want you to sit down and ask me, how dare you call yourself a king? And I'm like, well, are you a king, male?
I'm just going to say, is there something that I need to know?
Most guys sit there and say, most guys sit there and say, well, you're not a king. And I'm like, well, neither are you. So let's really reevaluate what this word king is, you know? So it's just a reason to have a conversation. It's funny how people associate being successful, powerful, intelligent to a male. It's wrong. And that's what I think I want to be able to have a conversation about.
Many people are threatened by the fact that we young black women these days in the Congolese community are doing, and some are trying to create a platform, and you have this strong education background where you've got a degree, I've got a degree, you've got a bachelor, you got a, like, they're really threatened by that, to the point that dating someone like you maybe is a threat to them because they feel really challenged?
I'm
the
fine
fact
by
that
that.
you're
I'm happy you're feeling a challenge, because two things will happen. You either crumble and break down, or you stand up and you take charge. Something has to happen.
Definitely.
If you feel like I'm not supposed to be in charge, I'm not supposed to be leading, then stand up and take the place.
Take the place.
Don't complain about it. Take the place.
All right. Thank you. We're going to go on a break.
Sure.
And when we come back, I want to hear all about empire, because you clearly have this empire that you're trying to build, yeah? I want to feature in it. Okay. So we'll be back in 5 and see you soon.
Ok. Ouais, SepelaTV eza chaîne na bino pour na bana Congo, pour na mokili mboma, pour na monde entier. So ça branché na SepelaTV pour découvrir tout sauf rien. Surtout tout ça branché na SepelaTV. Car on connecté aujourd'hui. Partout, Afrique, Europe, Amérique. N'hésitez pas. Pour l'information à Moka, SepelaTV. Vous avez la page, monsieur tout ça na SepelaTV.
Hello guys, thank you very much for joining us again. Welcome back to Talk Time with Marlene. And I'm still here with Shesking.
Hello.
So earlier on I was saying we're going to talk about your empire. So tell me, what empire are you trying to build?
I mean, I've recognized that there's a collective of women just like myself who are really trying to establish themselves in their career path, in their profession. And I just really want to develop a platform where they feel like, okay, I'm allowed to be who I am, and I'm able to be this amazing producer, dancer, musician, financial advisor, and really contribute to building an even bigger platform for even more of us to come forward. So it's like a small room building a house and building then eventually an empire. So it's more of a hub, if that makes sense, of these fantastic women. And the reason why I use the word fantastic is because to be a fantastic or an amazing woman, it's more of an all-rounded sort of thing. It's not just a career path you're chasing. It's family life. It's self-control. It's discipline. It's all of these things. And when you're in a network of people that are like that, you build a sisterhood, and you can do it together instead of struggling by yourself. Because it's a very difficult thing, what I'm trying to establish as a single person, to be a mother or a wife and a career woman and a leader. And it's very, very ambitious things. And when you have a collective of people doing it with you, it doesn't feel so crazy anymore. It kind of feels normal. So that's what the empire is for.
So if I, just to break it down, in other words, you're trying to form some form of hub or agency, for example, that would allow other people to like gain or create a platform where you will help them to establish such a thing, to have their voice heard.
Mainly, Shesking is it's a creative company, and the company basically recruits other young creatives from university, from college, as what's it called, apprenticeships and so forth, develops their skills in terms of them being within the entertainment industry, and then helps them to serve a service within the actual company. So we recruit, let's say, producers and, I don't know, writers, and we train them up, give them even more training in terms of how we want the quality of work for them to pick out. They then open up a department within the company, and they run that department with whatever work they want to produce, whatever writers they want to produce, and it goes on like that. So it's just a training place for you to be comfortable within your own profession.
So in other words, you actually do want to build an empire.
Well, that's the plan. The plan.
That's really good. Another thing that I really want to look at is the fact that you speak about relationships. All the relationships that you've been through, not that you've been through many.
It's true.
Like, have you not found love? Has every single one of them been like a heartbreakful story?
No, my last relationship was pretty cool actually. It was a lovely relationship. I feel like I'm the first things first is I'm developing as a person, and it's difficult, I find, to attach yourself to someone when you're still finding yourself. And my first relationship, the whole heartbreak through story, what it was based on, that was a very big step into womanhood for me. And it taught me a lot about myself, and it helped me deal with demons that I really didn't even know I had. So it wasn't really about the other people in the relationship, it was more about who I was. when you're young, it's very easy to be in love and to think of the world of someone before you thought about who you are as yourself. So that served that purpose. The next like main relationship that I was in, which I just left, I was being challenged as a woman now, because there was from girl to woman, young woman. This was a very mature relationship, and it really made me question again, okay, what kind of person are you? What are you going to settle for in a relationship? What are you not going to settle for in a relationship? And I think I kind of developed these like feminist sort of ideologies that I didn't really realize I had, but it became more obvious in this relationship. So it's a journey that I'm going through. And I realized that love is very unique. So the way that I may have been in love in my first relationship to how I was in love in this relationship, very different. So I don't compare the two at all. I just look forward to my final stop at love and eternity. That's kind of what it is. I'm walking towards being with someone for life. So it's nothing to really like downplay or just look over. I think I really want to take my time in doing that. So getting to know myself is the main priority right now.
Okay. Do you have any advice that you want to give to your viewers or the viewers who are watching here in terms of relationship?
How can I advise you on the madness you're going to go through? That it's going to be completely different each time to every other woman you know. It's going to always be different. I think one thing is that I've learned is there's something very important, and I'm still developing and understanding this myself. There's something very, very important about understanding the woman that you are, because it attracts the people that you interact with and the kind of man that you go out for. So when you've understood your purpose, your fears, your insecurities, your strengths, your weaknesses, it then allows you to know the position you play in a man's life, in a household, in a marriage, all of that. First stop is understanding yourself, which I think women are either told to not told, but were steered away from doing, because you finish school straight, you have to think about marriage, you have to think about children. You stop thinking about yourself so early in your life that you then become confused about which way to go in regards to being at home. Because as a woman, I don't think women are the tail, as some people may say. They have to at some point be a leader, whether you're being a mother, whether you're being a wife. You are going to be a leader, and if you don't know which way you're going, you're not helping the rest of what you've developed as a woman. So it's about really finding yourself and then knowing which way to go. I think that's the main step. Figure out who you are first.
Which a lot of us tend not to do. We don't even have time to do that, because when you're coming from an African background, it's education, marriage. They forget about that gap in between. They forget about the career. They forget about preparing you for all those other things in between. That sometimes when they bring your child back at home, you ask yourself, why is marriage not working? Which some parents don't tend to sit down and talk with their kids. And then not a lot of kids have this kind of strength that they can just sit there and speak about what's happening in their life, or yet alone communicate with their parents.
I think because of my parents' divorce, it really forced me to be very mature very quickly, and it exposed me to a lot of things in life that I don't see the pleasure in hiding at this point. My dad was a very, very strict man, and when I conquered him in terms of being able to sit down and have
king.
When I conquered the king and had conversations with him that even he was very afraid of having, I stopped being afraid of anything. He was my biggest fear, if that made sense. Disappointing him, if that makes sense. So I think when I kind of developed my strength to be comfortable with dad, who was my main pull, and then mum is the cool, like she's a bit too cool. Like I can tell her and talk about anything with her. So it allows me to be able to, okay, if I can be open with you guys and you guys are my people,
then I can be open with the world. I can be open with the public and just be honest with it. But that's the way forward, isn't it? It's really good. I want to take you in the path of knowing what you like with the community. Because a lot of people tend to look at some Congolese people, and if you don't really connect with them, it's like, oh yeah, she don't really like our people, you're nanny and all this kind of thing. But at the same time, there is quite a lot of people like me and you who try to mingle with the community, get involved in places, but at the same time you're looking at it in the logical side, in like you said, what you were doing with your mom, she's looking at it in the I'm Congolese, and you're looking at it as I'm Mwanapoto kind of thing. So would you feel that you mingle with our fellow people?
Our fellow people, man. Oh God. I think it's so hard to talk about this. Let me be honest, and it might really upset some people when I say this, but it's honest to me. There are two types of Congolese people I've established, or maybe three, but we'll leave the three. The third one is the older people. We'll leave them out. The dons.
Yeah.
We'll have another conversation another time about that. But the younger generations, there's two types. There are the westernized ones who actually have taken education seriously. They've realized their role or the reason of them being here, and they're trying to make it better for themselves. And then there are the Congo Bongos, I call them. The Congo Bongos, they try to imitate what our parents have brought to the country. And because our parents, most of them I would say, they've come with the mentality of, well, running away, refugee. And this mentality, this ideology I picked up from a friend of mine called JJ on Vava. We were having a conversation about this. And they were saying to me that it's basically because of the whole running away from home, running to get refuge, we're very dependent on this government, this greater being, that we forget to actually come in and fend for ourselves. And so this lazy character, we've got this lazy vibe in our community where the older generation depend on, government funding or government money. And
I think that's because when they came at the time, it was easier for them to come in. Exactly. It was easier for them to access so many things.
Exactly.
But now that it's gotten so tighter,
they don't know how to
just
develop.
Need to get rid of,
but they don't know how to develop into it because again, the mentality is very lazy. We're not taught to fend for ourselves. Education is not the key as much as it's supposed to be. So because of that kind of vibe, it kind of goes down in the generations. And so I meet with Congolese people. I'll say mainly guys. I'll leave the girls alone for a minute. The guys I have an issue with the most, because I want to go out there and do the best I can to develop my family and to make money, mortgage, all that kind of stuff. Whereas I come across Congolese guys that their main priority is to look good, and I don't understand it because
sapology.
Yeah, but if you're going to be a saper, the money that you're making has to come from somewhere other than uni funds and 411. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to have your Machino and your
Yamba Moto,
if you're going to have those things, if you're going to have those things, then can you talk about the down payment to your mortgage, your mum's house, helping your siblings? Like, let's talk about constructive things that are going to help us in the future because hello, this government is switching up on us 24/7, so we need to be on our feet all the time. And Congolese guys are so lazy. I've met a few guys that are very much on top of their game. But what we all do as Congolese people, our side of the Congolese people, we kind of separate ourselves away from the community. Therefore, we don't really get to meet as much as we do like this. Because we're all running away from the Congo Bongo Nation. The Congo Bongo Nation, they're very small. I think that's
simply because we think that they're all the same.
Exactly.
So, I'm different, so I'm just going to step back. But there is someone else out there also stating exactly that I'm different.
Right.
So we need to just get to a point where we can actually acknowledge that you ain't the only one who's thinking that you're different. Yeah. So you need to really acknowledge that and be like, I'm not the only one that's different. There is other people out there. But then again, there needs to be some kind of platform for someone else to know that they're different. And when we do come together to state how different we are, it becomes a problem anyway. There's always
but I don't even mind that. I almost kind of want us to get together and deal with whatever we want to deal with. But as long as we've met, my thing is, as soon as we've come together and we've understood that we're all kind of working towards the same thing, there shouldn't actually be a reason for us to be against each other if we're not being hypocrites.
That someone else who just look at it like, okay, here's what Salaboy is,
doing this, that means you've still got a Congo Bongo trait in you, and you're just as bad as them. So
it's a generation.
And then I do that. I really try to make sure I look at myself and make sure that I'm not imitating what I don't want to see in other people. So it's about self-reflection at the same time as well.
Okay. Passion for motherland. I know it's something that you've worked quite closely with. Your role in that. Apart from Passion for Motherland, in terms of like events and projects, you are more like a project manager or event manager. What roles or what other roles have you done in other events apart from Passion for Motherland?
PFM, Passion for Motherland, is funded by Lizette Mibo, a Congolese model. And the reason why I got involved in this project is because anyone that knows me as Sheik will know that I love building things from scratch. There's something about the work ethic that you need in order to build something from the ground that I really, really love. So of course I jumped on that. my main role is production manager, so you know the background stuff of like the music, lighting, all that kind of stuff. I studied events and entertainment management at uni, and it really helped me to give me direction in terms of the lane that I wanted to do in terms of career-wise. But in terms of other clients, I've mainly mingled in the Nigerian scene, and that's because
they just get on with
they're just
things.
ready. They're going for it. They're just going for it, and so it really helped me to develop my craft, and it allowed me to express my creativity as well. So events management, tour management. So like I did the Maven concert. So that's like Tiwa Savage, Don Jazzy.
Okay, that's good.
So just like nightlife in general, I worked on production stuff, stage work. That's kind of the work I do in terms of like clients that reach out to me. My own personal things that I'm working on at the moment, the main thing is a play, and the play is called Becoming Woman, and I'm collaborating with like spoken words artists and so forth, and bringing everyone together to produce this whole big musical kind of play that reflects the stages of a woman, womanhood, through not just a woman's eyes but a man's perspective as well. So it's quite an interesting project, and I think this is going to be my main first personal thing that I'm doing for myself instead of for other clients. So that's that really. Yeah.
And referring back to Sapology, there's a forthcoming event this month that's referring to Papa Wemba, like the celebration of his death, in other words, shall I say. In terms of logos and people who are sponsoring, I came across that your logo was there. So what's your role?
I mean, the main thing is just putting the word out there, letting people know. I mean, all the sponsors on the show, they've got a nice different market or audience, and so for us it's just being able to let people know out there that this is a great person, a great king from our community that has passed away. We want to celebrate his life, so that's why we're really supporting the event. Please, this is the one time that I'm going to be wearing my little clothes I'm going to steal from my mom's wardrobe.
You just spoke about that, and connecting yourself to it.
Absolutely,
you cannot run away from it, can we?
I would never ever deny my country. I would deny the rubbish that we do. Absolutely, I don't associate myself to the rubbish. But in terms of the rich culture, never deny it. I absolutely love the culture, as long as it's productive and working towards building
something positive. Yeah.
But yeah, make sure you come down. We're gonna screen the film La Vie est Belle. Play all his music. I'm gonna go home and learn his music because I don't want to be the only one there not really that don't know all the lyrics. So we're gonna be playing all his music. It's just gonna be a lovely environment again for people like us to come together. Because if anyone that loves Papa Wemba and loves events like this, then you're obviously gonna come to it. So yeah, 25th of May, 27th. 20 somethings down here. They'll put it
on Facebook.
You find out. But yeah, just make sure you come to meet all of us there.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I just have a few more questions that I want to ask you to end with this, apart from passion for movement. What can we expect to see or to hear from you in the near future?
An amazing play. That's going to be my live baby. Shesking's going to be growing and developing so much. Clothing line, sports line, the media production team. And apart from that, I've realised that I can't plan everything. I just know that I'm working towards greatness, and so the things that will come my way are the things that God wants me to be involved in. My mum's sickle cell charity, the Fatima Ngongo charity, again, developing awareness within the UK and abroad for people with sickle cell, and really helping to manage and also to reduce the rates of sickle cell, children born with sickle cell. Apart from that, stage work, I don't know about acting, but stage work is going to be something that I'm really looking towards. Something that you would probably help to put together. Yeah, always. I'm always going to, I love behind the scenes. I love behind the scenes, but I think you're going to probably see me more in front of the camera a lot more now, or on stage, so watch out for that. Yeah. And your calendars, do you want to quickly just cap on us about your calendars? So the Shesking calendars are basically worked around identifying a particular young woman that has done a lot in terms of, or is doing a lot in terms of her role, her ambitions, or what she wants to do with herself. And what we did is that we put a call out and saying, if you think you're an inspiring young woman, put yourself forward and let people nominate you or let people vote for you. So a girl called Marilla Wakoye won the Shesking calendar, and we did a photo shoot with her, we interviewed her, and then we produced these calendars and this productivity pack. Pens, paper, pencils, diaries, things that we believe would help you carry your year out productively. And so that's what we're developing to do. Every year we're going to pick a new woman for our calendar and have her be the face of our calendar. Because just taking girls from different African backgrounds? Yeah, everywhere. Anyone that's really working hard and people really recognize you for that. The reason why we chose the calendar is because it initiates time, and time has been my new big thing, because as a woman, time for some reason flips much quicker for us.
It flips quick.
Yeah, it really just clicks much faster for us. So when you are aware of time productively, then you work towards your goals and dreams instead of panicking. Oh my God, I don't have enough time in life. You are able to plan accordingly. So planning and being productive is the main thing.
It's the main thing. Okay. Thank you very much for joining us. Shesking.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing and hearing more about your empire.
Absolutely.
And thank you for coming here today.
Thank you,
and see you again soon.
Yeah,
we'll have some dinner or something.
Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, because I love a bit of wine as well. So we'll look forward to that. Thanks for having me, guys.
Okay, no problem. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Marlene. This is Shesking Empire, the King. And we'll see you same time next week.